I've seen enough deficiencies already to last a lifetime this season. I mean, it's fucking
Apparently not, though.
shite.
Apparently not. You know, folk don't seem to be getting on board with it. It's not happening. And, you know, pumped out of the Champions League now, that's taking away all his excuses. There's only so much you can do when you're dropping your top players, or the top players underperforming, and he's turning around and going, aye, well, you know, one eye maybe on Wednesday night. Well, do you know what? They've got fuck all now to keep one eye on, so they've got to start playing. If we don't start fucking streaking ahead of all the other
On, I can't get it loaded up now, but I spoke to the lovely Eleanor, and I don't know, have you had, I mean, I said, look, I went to the AGM, you says you have meetings with Celtic fans, anybody, I says, well, I'm coming here, I'm for Celtic Community Radio. She says, oh no, Tommy. I says, well, is there any chance I can speak to him, or is it just lip service you pay to say to people, or you speak to various groups, or we talk to the associations? I say, well, look, so why is he not talking to me? She went, oh, because of calls you've made. So, but before I made the calls, you were fobbing me off and saying, oh, you can't speak to him. I asked Paul Brennan, couldn't speak to him. So you just, things are seriously wrong here. The PLC has got to go. It's no sack the board, it's sack the PLC, and sooner or later the groundswell of opinion with enough Celtic fans. Do you think, what's the next step? I mean, I was talking last night to a few people saying, get another a meeting going in the old fruit market the way back to 93, try and do something like that. Do you think there's enough groundswell of opinion? Do you think it's something doable? Do you think we can do something?
Aye, I think there is. And I think as well that, you know, if you were to say dates in a couple of weeks' time, or whenever you were going to say it, I wouldn't be too disheartened by the first turn up at the first meeting. Because if you go back to 93 and you look at it then, there wasn't a groundswell of opinion or a groundswell of support. But it grew, Tommy, it grew and it grew, and it started rolling.
I mean, I was going to no it's a radio roadshow. Yeah. The charity, boom, started there, and people, we can put it on live, everybody can hear it. The ones who turn up, and I'll say a bit, if you want to say a bit, anybody wants to say their bit, everybody's got 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever the time can allow, stand there, say your bit, take a vote, what way are we going to do it? Are we going to do another one of these? Are we going to go and encourage more people? Because the chances here, I mean, I personally feel slighted. I just feel so, I think they're just evil bastards, mate. I can't describe how sad I feel, mate. I mean, it's like a zombies took control of our club. I mean, we talk all the time about how the bastards over there have been shafted by all these spivs and charlatans, but by the back door, while we're sitting here gorging an jelly and ice cream, laughing at these bastards, our club has been eaten up with inside with a group of charlatans who are just as almost bad as the bastards are doing it to the Angels, but we have walked into this. How's this possible? I
know. And certainly from a group perspective, mate, you know, you talk about fucking being slighted on. I mean, those boys get shat on coming back through the Nazi. That time with the fuck UEFA banner and stuff like that. And Lennon stood there in the airport giving it, you know, disgusted at them. Well, do you know what? That was just before Christmas as well, when everyone had fought out every fucking penny they had to follow the team to Italy, to support the team. And then he shits on them at the airport, and then Wall shat on them the next day. And since then, he's not had any backing, any support for us at all. Even when they came over and brought that fucking trophy, that meant nothing to us, absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? So I think now there's going to be a lot of people that are feeling it the same way as me and you. That, hang on a minute, it doesn't just start at sack the manager. You're right in what you say, it doesn't come from there. It's got to come higher up and then work its way down. I actually think Lennon should be given the opportunity to maybe turn the tide a wee bit. That man could have been adored at this club. And all he's done now is fucking turning everybody against him. And do you know what? The thing is, Law's sitting there pretty. And Lennon's going to be the fall guy for him. So until it changes, and until something, so like I said, the upper tiers of the fucking club changes, then I don't know where we go from here.
Well, we've got to try something. I'm for putting my name down and getting a few people together and then just taking it for air. Like you say, if you only get a few bodies and then just keep doing it and see what happens, spread the word. I mean, if it can be done 20 years ago, and it's that serious, I mean, okay, we're not at death's door and we're not going to go to the war, but something more serious, I think, has happened to our club, because from the inside, it's like a coup d'etat from the inside. Now, when Fergus McCann came here, he put people who hadn't an allegiance to Celtic. I mean, we could talk about Jock Brown and other ones, Peter McLean. I mean, when I spoke to Fergus McCann about a year ago, right, or earlier on in the year, and he directed me, I said, look, I just want an interview, Fergus. He says, go through Peter McLean. And apparently Peter McLean still takes the deal with him. But what he did at Celtic was put in people who have not got a Celtic leaning, who've not got a Celtic backbone in them. That I mean, so, and I don't know, I mean, a lot of people say Peter Lawwell is a proper Celtic fan, but personally I don't think a proper Celtic fan would, at a drop of a hat, hand these details over to the police, know what I mean, and call Celtic fans chavs, scum, or whatever the phrase was that the brother Stevie Glasgow Road mentioned once before, know what I mean, his own secret feelings against ordinary Celtic fans, and to demonise one group of Celtic fans, as far as I'm concerned, you've just demonised the whole fucking lot of you, isn't it what I mean?
Exactly. And I mean, like I said, I don't know where it goes, but I agree with your idea that I'm thinking maybe no the foot market. I'm thinking what you could do is you could get somewhere smaller, right, initially, somewhere smaller with a smaller expectation of who's going to come, right? That's what I would do. Just put the lid on it a wee bit and see if we get somewhere smaller and there's 100 people standing outside, mate. That looks fucking better than having a bigger venue with a load of people in it that doesn't look so busy. So if you got somewhere like, I don't know, some mad community hall, right, and bear in mind you need to keep it quiet because the fucking Huns would be doing it in fucking droves. You know what I mean? They'd be climbing out the fucking graves just to get there and have a laugh and mock us and fucking have a wee scream at us, right, and trying to eat our brains. But what we could do is you get a smaller hall, you get more people in a smaller hall and say it was jam-packed with milk and pence. That's the way you did it.
I mean, the reason why I was throwing that was that the place where they had the big one, the Celts for Change, but was that the old fruit market where they had it, where thousands turned up? I remember speaking to them about that.
But like I said, there wasn't thousands initially. You know, it was a very small number, mate, and it grew and grew. And I think that's what you'd maybe need to start off. And I know what you're saying, things are different from 93. You know, the fucking balance sheet looks a lot better now than what it did then. And that you're fighting against that constantly, by the way. That's always their backup for this. Oh, the balance sheet looks good. I don't follow the team to see a fucking balance sheet improve year on year.
Concerned it's fucking voodoo economics. They don't know they don't know, anybody who says that doesn't know a balance sheet for a fucking a tea towel sheet, you know what I mean? They're after not, we've got a good balance sheet. These fuckers use voodoo economics just as much as David Money. They get much hiding and fucking shit there. We don't really know the true fucking shit going down. They put stuff there for years, and I don't know the exact accounting jargon and terminology that's used, but they're certainly hiding a lot of stuff there, Celtic. There's just because they, and like you say, I mean, it's all bullshit. Somebody pulls that argument out, it's just bullshit. Because at the end of the day, the negligence of Celtic PLC was the fact that when we sing we're going for 10 in a row, we should be going for 11, or should we be going for 10, 11 this season, because those 3 leagues we handed to those bastards on a plate, that was the board's fault. And how they escaped that, I mean, 2 years ago they're 15 points ahead of us, plunging into administration, butting every bastard under the sun, and they're still 15 points ahead of us. I mean, at a time there I was sitting going, fucking hell, they could take administration with a 10-point deficit and still walk away with the league here. That's how fucking serious it got until they collapsed and we turned it around. But, I mean, I've lost all faith. I lost all faith in the board back when they failed to sign Stephen Fletcher. I mean, I lost all faith when they didn't put any money into the backing of Martin O'Neill after Seville. I mean, I've seen how they just look over their shoulders and say, oh, what are they doing? And as soon as they find out doing too many times, after Seville, we had a brilliant team, we just needed one or two players, no, we didn't go for it. We needed a attacker when it was fucking Van Hesselump and McDonald.
I agree anyway.
What do you reckon is the best way to do it then? Go for a small venues?
I'd say a smaller venue first off, see how it rolls, see how it builds, see what kind of feedback and input you get from, you know, I don't know, maybe the online community. I mean, that, you know yourself, that's your best measure of popularity. I certainly think that if you get something going and something out there, and even if you don't get so many turning up, you may well get more the second time, more the third time. Bearing in mind after Christmas as well, we can, you know, you can see what the fucking January transfer window brings. Know that I think that should mean that you take the foot off the pedal. The exact opposite, because going in past history, and you've just mentioned it there, the January transfer window brings nothing but shite. Fucking passengers, mate. Guys that want to come and go, like fucking Robbie Keane. You know, we missed out on a huge opportunity there to get a guy that was scoring his goals and who could still be playing in that Celtic team. You know what I mean? And we got him on loan. They appeased the fucking support in January, that's why. And that was when the league was already fucking too late. We couldn't even make up the difference, and that's what the fucking goose is. So, I would say, you know, maybe go for one before Christmas in a small venue, gauge your popularity, go for another one in January, maybe slightly bigger venue. You know, if you're going to start selling tickets for like a £5 or whatever, and like you said, some kind of radio roadshow, and just see where it goes for there, mate.
Sack the PLC, sack the P radio roadshow, no soup takers allowed. There's fucking 7-foot bouncers fucking there weeding out the fucking soup takers.
Leave your soup spoon at the door. No straws in here.
But tell me, I mean, I was thinking of doing something round about the time for the next game, but what's going down with the group? I mean, it's still a couple of weeks away. Is there anything been mentioned regards to?
At Celtic Park, we're going to give them an even rougher ride. The Green Brigade have never gave the PLC a rough ride, and even, you know, they've never been that outspoken regarding Lennon. We've kind of stood there and kept our silence on them, but you know, they're playing it very close to the edge, and I think personally as well, with this stuff that's went on, go back to the second home game of the season, where as well, an awful lot to answer for that, and we've been on Facebook, on Twitter, or wherever, by he is a club employee, supporter liaison officer. He feeds the lies at law. But they're not getting a rough ride, and I think personally the Green Brigade should be the ones giving them the rough ride.
My patience snapped today. I just heard a small clip on Talk Sport, and as you said, and then I heard them there in the shortbread just at the start, a clip and a thing, when I thought, That's it. I mean, I've up to even last night, somebody was saying something bad again.